No, Miss I'm already know. 5 + 7, no. 12 tribes, damn me now, let it go. Like the Italy scrubber, hotter than a pepper, no.
It's the Federation Sound, Red Bull Radio. Max Glazer in here. Want to welcome Kes the band.
Blessings. Yes, man. Good to be here, man.
Wow, we have so much to talk about on so many levels. Brooklyn last night.
Yes.
Which I don't even want to start with that because we just had thousands and thousands and thousands of people on the boardwalk in Brooklyn.
What a time.
Boy.
What a summertime.
Great way to kick off the summertime.
Yeah, for sure.
We're both still kind of like on a high from that. It was that kind of night.
Yeah. You know, lacking sleep as well, too. It's
yeah,
good.
Definitely.
Times.
I think a lot of people actually in Brooklyn probably showed up late to work today.
Yes.
A lot of people probably called out from work.
Definite.
And
I just want to let Brooklyn know that I was up early with you this morning as well.
And we should also apologize to give some people call some bosses and be like, hey.
Yo, listen, we need a bigger. We're gonna talk about it. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, so you're really like the first kind of official soca artist that we've had on the show.
Oh, nice.
You know, I'm a dancehall and a reggae guy.
Yes.
But we've known each other for some years. That I definitely have been growing to love soca. So it's really an honor and a pleasure to have you on here.
Yes,
so one, I'm going to dig into your history, but you're also going to have to represent for the whole of Trinidad and give us some of the soca foundation and history.
I'm there.
All right. So the first thing that I want to clear up is the name. So Kes the band is the full band.
It is. Yes. So, right. What happened was.
This is what I want to know.
Okay, cool. So we were, me and my brothers, my blood brothers were a part of, a few types of bands. We started off in rock music and then we moved off into fusion with Caribbean music mixed with like reggae and rock and.
Well, hold on. Let me stop you there.
Yeah.
So you guys started out with rock music.
We started as like a little punk rock band in Palmis in South Trinidad.
so not even in Port of Spain. Like in country.
We grew up country, and one of my big brother's friends had MTV and a dish, and we would look at like Van Halen and all these bands, and they saw the girls, they saw the life, so they said, yo, we have some brothers, let's recruit. You play the bass, I'm gonna play. My big brother, his hands, he was really the one that kind of brainstorm us forming a band. We couldn't have a drum kit. We didn't have a drum kit. We built drum kits out of buckets.
Peters were like, look, we got a bunch of people here. Like, there's enough of us to start a band in the family.
Exactly. We eventually, Dad gave us a second-hand drum and we threw a little concert. And I think from that, it kind of planted the seed of like music being a part of a common denominator in our lives, no matter what we were up to. So, we it moved from, strength to strength, and we joined the first time we entered into soca was with a band called Image and Company. And we did that for 5 years, and that was our first taste of touring, our first taste of soca in a lot of ways, because we were doing other genres before. And it reached a stage where we needed to just form our own identity. Image was really popular, but they weren't creating music as fast.
But so were you guys consciously avoiding soca because that was the dominant thing, and you were trying to do something different?
I think it was just a matter of how we entered into music. Like when our first records were Beatles, and that sort of stuff. And Daddy was a part of a lot of culture. So he used to judge calypso competitions. So we were always a part of. It was always a part of us, the culture aspect. But when we started to learn to play instruments and sing, it was covering rock songs and covering R&B and.
But so then you said like predominantly you just mentioned Beatles kind of as the earliest inspiration.
Yes,
so that
Beatles,
was
Van Halen,
the music that was in the air and around.
Yeah. I remember I discovered like with Bob Marley and stuff later. Like I was like 10, 11, 12. And I knew obviously calypso before that, and then we entered soca. We got heavy into soca, toured, had a few songs on the circuit, but then we really wanted to contribute in a different way, and we really wanted to add all our elements, which is the rock, the pop, the R&B, the reggae and dancehall, and soca. So we formed Kes the band. My brother was like, again, my big brother, he was like, yo, we don't want to start a whole new name. Let's just use your name, Kes. So it was Kes. The band's name was Kes. I didn't really like that, to be honest. But
okay, but now here's where confusion comes in for the people that didn't grow up with you. No, but your name is Kees, Kees.
So that's a Dutch name, right? My parents are being fancy because my last name is Diffenthaler. It's the Austrian German last name. 14 letters. Dieffenthaler, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they wanted a short first name. My dad was looking at this football side from Holland on TV, and he was like, yo, I'm going to name my kids like from the football team. You have a little side. So, Kees, right? Just K-W-S. Kees is a very common name in Holland.
The proper Dutch pronunciation,
Kees.
Yeah.
But in Trinidad, it's either Kees or
the only one in ever, probably.
Yeah.
So people just called you Kes.
Kes. And then, I dropped one E for my stage.
Just to make it simple and clear.
Exactly. K-E-S. And then, people were like, because in soca, you perform with the DJ or you perform with your band. And sometimes, depending on the situation, I had to, move to suit. So a lot of the fans would be like, who's performing? Is it Kes or Kes and the band? And then the fans named us Kes the band. Because, it's an entire... It's not Kes the man, it's really Kes the band,
No, I mean, it's interesting, though, because you sort of mentioned Beatles, but sort of like in my background growing up in the country here in America, Bob Dylan had a band that was called The Band.
Nice.
So for several years, which actually from the town where I'm from. But so there was like a period of Bob Dylan music that it was Bob Dylan and The Band.
Yes.
What's the band's name? The Band.
It's The Band.
Yeah, The Band.
Yeah, exactly.
The Band.
You know what I mean? So it's a great experience. We actually, if not one of the very few live bands touring right now in soca. A lot of it is DJ artists, but we are the representative, one of the few that's representing live instruments, in the soca experience,
Right, because even though, I've seen you do, here and there, you'll be in a club and do shows on tracks, but the group is actually...
That's the act.
The band.
Yes.
The act is the band. So, so if we see you, not to take anything away from it, but like if you see you in a club, that's you, a piece of the band there.
It's a piece of the experience as well too, So we are like a rock band, more or less. It's the same thing. Like the true fans of the band knows the drummer and they know the guitarist and they know, the bassist, and they are fans of the DJ. They are fans of each, individual as well,
Well, also we'll get into that more when we fully talk about the show.
Yeah.
But I've seen the show before, but then watching the show with you guys last night, there's a lot of personality. So even though you're the kind of the lead singer, like you said, people can really identify with
everyone,
the rest of the
we're
band.
Muppets, we're Muppets, like Sunny Road,
It's full of vibes, and you properly introduce everybody. And I think at this point, a lot of people know that almost half the band, you guys are related.
Yes.
So there's that kind of natural connection.
Yeah, band life,
And I think there's also something about soca, especially the way it's developed in the years that you, alongside what you've been doing, like in those years developing, the live music culture is really, really strong, and the translation of music that you're recording in a studio to the live band presentation is of a really high level.
It's a whole different approach. After you record a song, I always tell artists there's so many different, levels to release. You obviously the writing process, the recording process, and the rollout process, but videos and all of that. But then the live is such an important. That's the point where the fans, consume the music. That's the meeting point between the artists and so that needs to be, that experience needs to be as full as possible. So we songs take a new transformation live, because we have, sometimes it doesn't translate. The recording does not translate live, so we have to find a way to make it interesting for a band to play, and not too much and not too little,
Well, yeah, because and also because now people have like their own direct access in their phones and online to everything, so they have that recorded version on demand, 24/7.
You can listen to that in your car.
So the level of familiarity with that is, and one of the things that, and reggae and especially you guys in Trinidad have been, like I said, really good at translating that, whereas rap music, I think, is getting there now, but has kind of struggled in translating the recorded sound onto the stage, whereas what you guys do, not only to me translates it, but really elevates it and takes it to another level.
We grew up in band life, you know, even in soca. When I just got into soca, there were like, you know, at least like 10 bands on the road. Like, so we grew up trying to be the best playing band possible, you know, like looking at the elders doing their thing is like, wow, like look how they, you know, look how they control the crowd, look how they play their music, the arrangements. You know, we built that team, you know, our musical director, Ricky, he really pushed our sound to the next level. And I think it's so important for a band to have a sound. So that's something that we spent a lot of years, you know, trying to develop and still, you know, tweaking again, you know, as we progress and singles come in and, you know, we be defining our sound. We definitely take a lot of pride in how we deliver the music and what people experience, you know, and the flexibility of having a band. You know, we could do a track with just an acoustic guitar and then the band kicks in afterwards. You know, it's so many.
There's a lot of different gears you can hit. These levels of you can like take it down in a way.
That's why I feel most comfortable though. I really didn't like the DJ setup situation so much that I had to use, you know, we use Ableton Live. So
I saw you've got a whole Ableton Live guy on the stage. What's his name?
Robbie Styles, you know?
Robbie.
He's the man.
Robbie's giving you a run
Robbie
for
and
your
the
money.
Style. Robbie and the band. It's Robbie and the band.
So if you've ever seen Kes the band perform, Robbie's giving Kes the lead singer a run for his money.
I'm good for that, you know what I mean? Sometimes I need to catch a breath, you know?
But it's so perfect because like you said, kind of in those moments, he just can run out from around the set and is like just like a wicked hype man.
Yeah,
and
it's his personality is definitely who he is, you know, in general. Like everyone could be, you know, cussing backstage and he'd be like, guys, let's be positive. You know, he's an angel, man. He's an angel, and just as his vibe is on stage is who he is off, you know.
Yeah, man. Well, so like I said, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, man.
I want to start dealing with the musical journey.
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
So I want to play What List and come back and talk about that because that's the start of.
It's the start of a lot.
of a lot
of things. Yeah.
All right, Kes is here. Keep it locked. This one is What List. It's the Federation Sound, Red Bull Radio. All right. So that one right there changed the direction of a lot of things.
It did. It sure did. Wow. What less? That was 2011. For me at that time, I'll be real with you, I was fed up of like the soca industry and just music in general. And I was kind of feeding two worlds because we were doing pop music and like we were in LA working with a lot of people and we were just dabbling in our rock sides. And at that time we were kind of getting into electronic a little bit, but it was so limiting. Like soca felt a little limiting to me at that point in time where I couldn't like express. Like I come from songs, you know, about life and all these things, and then soca is just the party, and so I was kind of like feeding two worlds. And that year, you know, because we were just trying to get in and trying to get people to take us on.
Right. So you said you're in LA working and doing things like this, but probably not really getting proper recognition.
At home. No.
Which no matter what kind of music you're making, you have to you got to be craving that.
Yeah, man. And it was something real. I was like, we putting forward some great, like, why not? And it taught me so many lessons, you know. There was a track that I did called Lion, which was a track that, you know, I cried in the studio, and it's all this kind of like extra, extra shit. And, the guy who did David Bowie's Tonight album was the producer. It was just amazing. And I came home to get it played, and it wasn't fitting any formats. And it was
flew
like,
home so excited.
I was like, no. And, we did an album, album, not soca. We did an album called Stereotype. And just was pop songs and everything. And I think getting that out of our system kind of paved the way for what was to come next. So later on, I flew to Toronto to work with Corinne Dubois, who's a prolific songwriter and soca artist. And we worked on What Less. And I was like, this is a nice song, you know. It's cool, you know. Oh, people are gonna like it. And
you're thinking like this falls into a fairly traditional framework.
Exactly.
Of soca music.
Exactly. And then the song just like caught a fire. Like it was actually our first legit soca hit. So the year that I gave up was the year that it really came back. And the song that really opened doors internationally was What Less. It was none of my like pop hybrid stuff or anything like that. What Less was the song that got us into Jamaica's market, that got us into, it was playing in stores, here in New York. Like it was out there, I
mean, What Less definitely like permeated all of West Indian culture, and then also beyond that into places where it wasn't being heard. But I feel like even that's What Less is definitely my introduction to Kes the band and you guys, like,
Max
for sure.
Glazer.
but it was also like that time in soca. It was in general around that time I was sort of starting to feel around a little more instead of just like
soca is
the three old I got to do like cruise ship music that people would think of kind of like
now with the new cruise ship music, man,
that people would think of as like the standard. So in that time, my awareness. So this song, as it was, but so I was aware enough that as this was growing in the Caribbean, I was really aware of it. But one of the things that struck me, and hearing you explain kind of the lead up to it makes a lot of sense, is there's a lot of pop songwriting elements and song structure things happening in What Less, and just the level of harmonizing and the quality of the songwriting, the music, and the performance.
It was definitely a step up of the soca productions that I had done, and that's due to as well to Corinne Dubois and where we kind of ended up, musically. And again, What Less taught me about the power of identity, because when I now go out, to work with international spaces, they want to hear where we from, what you have, what you bring into the table, where you from, what's your energy. It's What Less taught me that. It gave me a sense of like, man, I am from Trinidad and Tobago, and people all around the world, try to sample this sauce, but we have the sauce, you know what I mean? In a sense of, we need to know where we're from and bring that to the table. and put everything else on it. Put your pop sensibility and your rock sensibility and apply it where necessary. But, that sound and getting to know who you are as a Caribbean man, a Trinbagonian man, it gives you that, that routine of to step into any space and, be a color paint on the canvas. You're not trying to be everybody else.
To be the piece of the puzzle that you are. That's an interesting and a worthwhile thing that other people can engage in.
And exchange with.
And so that won Soca Monarch.
Yes, well, it won Soca Monarch. Now, I was never into this competition thing as well. It really, the people forced it, like, yo, enter to win. And it was Soca Monarch was something that gave me the people started to get to know who we were. Before, we were kind of like the little weird group, the little hybrid,
These guys playing rock music over here at the lounge at a little club.
Who's this little white boys playing? Or soca, you know what I mean? Like with people.
With the Dutch names.
Exactly. What do you even, come on. And then, we obviously have, instead of brass, we will have like distortion. Like, we still do that now, but then it was even more like standing out.
So I want to kind of get a little bit into the Soca Monarch end of things. So that's the yearly competition that's at carnival time. To basically crown a Soca Monarch, two Soca Monarchs, right?
Yeah. I think the Soca Monarch now is rebranding. I think the competition aspect, I think they met a few I would say dead ends when it came to the artists and what was fair and what was right. It just became, it needed to restructure, and I think they're in the stages of restructuring their situation. The competition thing is cool. It adds an excitement to carnival. Carnival it's across the carnival. Carnival lasts for a few months, so it's like 2 to 3 months, and you kind of look at each song. And fans will bet on each song, and like, this is the song that's gonna win. Like, this is gonna be.
So people really see. So like, the season really starts kind of like December, just before the holidays.
Yes.
Goes through Carnival, which is
January, February,
Easter week. Yes. So depending on where Easter falls,
where Ash Wednesday
on
falls.
the calendar. Sometimes you get 2.5 months. Sometimes you get 3. So like you're saying, so it's that season that kind of leads up to it.
Exactly.
So I want to know like how that built up, because clearly you are not someone who was aiming in your career to be like, let me enter the Soca Monarch competition. It seems honestly a bit out of character for what you and your brothers and the whole band would do. So how did that happen that you said, all right, let's do this. Let's enter this.
It's really the people, because we've never entered after that. But
that's all you need is one.
Exactly. It was 2011.
That's the way to do it. Drop the mic and walk out.
Exactly. But the reality is that a lot of people did not know who we were, and Soca Monarch was a machine already that the people, the public, really bought into the whole experience, and they loved the song so much that they wanted me to defend it. And I did, and it was again, it was another eye opener. That song, what soca, you see, like, describe soca, what soca means to you, and soca is a teacher. Soca has been a teacher for me in a lot of ways, and it's a way that it taught me so many things. And that's definitely that whole experience, that Soca Monarch thing, it gave me a sense of like, okay, cool, this is who we are. And then now let's build on this, and let's
to see the whole country come behind you and support that song and support you guys.
So after that, now what's the next step? And we took our next steps. Now Carnival is not about a competition for me, but it's more based on our concert Tuesday on the Rocks, And Tuesday on the Rocks is something that we do every year in Carnival. We travel around the world with the brand Tuesday on the Rocks, but the flagship, I would say, is of course in Trinidad. It's the Tuesday before our main parade, Carnival Tuesday. And, we just threw this huge concert, and I put my energy to that's my Soca Monarch right now, So Tuesday on the Rocks,
So the Tuesday has been around for
6 years.
6 years now.
6 years
but
now.
Started off much much smaller.
It was
gathering,
really small.
right?
It was in a place called Normandy. Just this little intimate place. And we sold out that place, and then we took a risk and jumped in O2 Park, which is just a little bigger. Didn't know who was gonna come, nothing, you know. And that was a success. And we continued for 5 years. We were at that venue, and then this year we had to move to another venue because that venue sold out as well. So it's just something that's just been growing, and we've been growing with it, you know, and just trying to create that experience and evolve the entire experience, because this is where the fans really get the full scope of Kesty Band, not just the soca. You're gonna get everything else too.
Well, that's one of the things that I learned sort of as I started to, around the time of Whatless, kind of engage more with soca and have more music and start playing it in my sets and realize like, oh, I love this response, like I like this energy in the club. But the next one was to go see it in person is like totally life-changing, because one of the things that I say is like when people are talking about like, oh, you know, what do you think, or can soca cross over? Can it grow bigger? And to me, the answer to that is everybody needs to get as many people as possible engaged in it physically, because it's really to sit on your phone and listen to.
No, it's not. Although I would say now, this generation, you know, their tracks now, I think that people, they love it. They've never experienced a fet before, but that's because the sound has kind of evolved a bit. We've laid back a bit for some of the tracks, like a track I have called Hello. It's really something that people listen to from across the board. Like
I'm saving that for later.
We're saving that for later. No problem.
On the show.
Yeah. But you know, it's definitely a different take on like the sound of soca, and that's been happening. So, but generally, it's an experience genre. It's you have to experience a soca fet. You come and after that, people can't stop listening to it. You know, they use it for all their things. You know. Yeah, their mood.
Definitely. It's definitely an entire mood. So let me play Tuesday on the Rocks. Yes. The song Tuesday on the Rocks, which is the inspiration for the name of the concert. Series. We just had our New York Tuesday on the Rocks last night. So let's play this, and then we'll talk about that.
Good.
Kess is here. It's the Federation Sound, Red Bull Radio.
Tuesday on the Rocks. Tuesday on the Rocks. Hot girl sitting down, twisting my locks, and the DJ spinning on the yacht. We don't care if you're drunk, sip some of that down in a Trinidad, a Jamaica, Las Vegas, or Ibiza. We just party hard. Yeah, you know we drink all day, dance all night. We don't stop playing, but that's alright. We jamming in stereo. Oh, yeah, we out all day and go all night. Come on, press play and feel alright. We rocking in stereo. Listen, y'all. Yeah. Tuesday on the rocks. Which one of them I go take home? Who la vibe and a big crowd, make out. It's a pretty girl and a date out. Wine and hush thing, y'all. Fantasize, cause you need me now. And baby, if you're going my way, you can have it your way. So girl, we can drink all day and dance all night. We don't stop playing, but that's alright. We jamming in stereo. Oh, yeah, we out all day and go all night. Come on, press play and feel alright. We're rocking in stereo. Listen, y'all. Boom. Tuesday on the Rocks. Hot girl sitting down, twisting my locks, and the DJ spinning on the yacht. We don't care if you're drunk, sip some of that down in a Trinidad, a Jamaica, Las Vegas, or Ibiza. We just party hard. Yeah, you know we drink all day, dance all night. We don't stop playing, but that's alright. We jamming in stereo. Oh, yeah, we out all day and go all night. Come on, press play and feel alright. We're rocking in stereo. Then we can all vibe and be cool and relax.
All right, Tuesday on the Rocks.
Yes.
So, couple things before we get into last night. Ironically, not a soca song.
Not a soca song. It's not a soca song.
But so interesting. I remember hearing that initially. So it ended up being a juggling, but I remember hearing Tuesday on the Rocks.
Yes.
And it's a Phyllis Dillon is the original song.
Yes.
Don't Stay Away.
Yes.
A Jamaican classic.
Yes.
So where did this come from?
Okay, so Tuesday on the Rocks is a mood. basically. What was happening at that time is that we were, I was doing a lot of work in Jamaica with respect to doing carnival in Jamaica. Like they had their yearly carnival. But I would stay on an extra few and link with a few promoters and a few, producers here, there, and everywhere, just to grab and see who want to work, you know. The doors started to open when it is a lot of people more, you know, what less again. That's kind of opened the door for a lot of those things, and they wanted, producers were interested in wanting a touch of soca in some of their productions. And Bambino and Just Bus came with this rhythm, you know, and I loved it immediately. I was like, this is cool. I have to write something special on this. I put it aside. And then there was a day that one of my friends that kidnapped me and we went down the islands, which is like a chill spot in Trinidad where, you know, you take a boat and you tie up and there's beach and there's, basically. And we had a day and it was Tuesday and we just was like, wow, look at the life, you know. I mean, we live in this, like, this is, you know, we didn't choose the 9-to-5 route. We're not in our office pushing anything and we there having a good time. Yo, this is Tuesday on the rocks. I mean, so later on, I was like, yo, there's a song. That rhythm made sense. I listened to that rhythm again and I was like, hey, Tuesday on the Rocks would so fit this vibe. Let's write it. And
so it just sounds like sitting on a boat, chilling.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So I wrote that with First Class, a producer I worked with in Trinidad, and we wrote Tuesday on the Rocks, and it just got this amazing feedback, you know, from soca fans and like reggae fans alike. And, you know, we just decided to build on it. But Tuesday on the Rocks as well, yes, represents taking that time for yourself on a random day like a Tuesday. But it also represents the immersion of cultures without any barriers. You know, with soca and dancehall, it was taboo for soca to be anywhere near dancehall. And
oh no, it was a big fight. It's different now, but
it was
that era is the start of
exactly.
it.
So we you know, it was a statement in some ways that yo, you know, the soca artists could juggle, you know, and that led to working with TJ Rhythms for.
I love that too. My love is one of my favorite songs of yours, exactly. On the Summer Wave rhythm.
Yeah, Summer Wave rhythm, and so My Love definitely, you know, again that was a rhythm with Popcorn and Vibes Cartel, and you know that was just not heard of.
But that's got it. But also, like at this point, like you're very successful. That still has to kind of feel cool. To juggle in the Popcorn Vibes Cartel segment because it's so outside of the box.
It's still different. It's still our take on dancehall as well. So, you know, we realize that we have our own, like, you know, Kes music, more or less. Like, even our approach on soca and on dancehall has a sound, you know, and, you know, that led on to Endless Summer was a rhythm with Ricky Blaze. And I don't limit it. Like, now we're working towards, you know, the Latin market. You know, there's a track that we're gonna be releasing as well too. You know, Africa has been popping up. Even India, there's some vibes going on there as well. So, you know, I've realized that our sound can like mix in different genres, but you're gonna get the Kes sound on that, you know. So we're not too hung up on what we sing. Again, you know, like people have accepted the fact that we could release a pop song tomorrow, but it's gonna have us in it, you know.
Right, but it's taken all these other steps for people to go, okay.
We had to do that. We had to kind of introduce, like, put your money where your mouth is in some ways, and put it out there and see how people respond to it. And now these songs have become so much integral parts of the set. If you don't play certain songs, like, yo, why you didn't play that one?
And at one point, the soca would just be of more up tempo. Like, you wouldn't have heard anything remotely like these in there. That would have been, you said, very taboo.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, I was never into this fast soca. I mean, I love a good song is a good song. I don't care the BPM. But I guess my groove was more the groovy stuff, like the slower BPMs. So with a slower BPM though, there's a common ground. Like even this BPM happening right here behind. This is the BPM that holds the rhythm of life together across the world. Like everybody, reggaeton, you can sing a reggaeton on this, you can sing a dancehall on this, you can sing a soca on it, you can sing
everything.
So we've realized there was a sweet spot. And I like that sweet spot. I think that sweet spot is just the way to bridge everyone together, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so now back to Tuesday on the Rocks, the show. It's been happening for years in Trinidad, growing and growing and growing. So since today is a Wednesday, we should let people know. Yesterday, we had Tuesday on the Rocks.
The first.
New York City.
Yeah, the first Tuesday on the Rocks, New York City. And it was free.
Big up to the City Parks Foundation,
yeah.
Summer Stage, Erica Elliott, and the whole crew for just believing in the idea and
that people will come out on a Tuesday.
But so back to what you were saying, it was sort of like, so a lot of my interaction with them was like, she was like, oh yeah, they said they wanted to do it, and I didn't even think of this, but it sort of came back around to me. Oh, they said they wanted to do it Tuesday. She was like, do you think that can work? And I was like, yes, absolutely. I was like, Tuesday, that's their thing. Like, people know, like, internationally, people know a Kes show on a Tuesday. Day. Like, if you have to leave work a little bit early, if you have to go to work a little bit late the next day, people know. So it's sort of like, well, all right, we'll take your guys' word for it. We'll take Kes's team. We'll take my word for it. And so we set it up. Ford Amphitheater at the Coney Island Boardwalk. Like I said, Summer Stage, free show, and could not have been any better.
It was amazing. I mean, what could have been better is a bigger venue. You know what I mean?
True enough, because I believe there was, they kind of gave me a count. It looked like there was about 5,000 people inside.
Yeah.
And probably another 1,000 outside, at least, that didn't make it in.
Yes.
So the question of will they come out on a Tuesday has been answered in New York.
Yo, I mean, it's insane, no? I mean, but for real, that took some years of building for people to know what that day represents. And then we take that chance to have an early show. You know, usually in the Caribbean, setting, 2, 3 in the morning, 1 in the,
Oh yeah.
You know the thing, No, the drill.
So part of my job on that team is making sure people know, like, this is that the hours that it says is when it is. So you said early time-wise, but also early in the year, because New York, our sort of carnival, real party season is the end of the summer. Exactly. Labor Day, you would traditionally have all of this stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, it's reached a stage where, soca fans are really 365 days now. Like, after Trinidad, there's just another one and then another. You could travel the whole entire year doing it, and these people travel from New York and wherever else, and they follow the carnivals go in, like all the way in Europe, Ibiza, everywhere.
And that's because carnivals around the world have been building. Like you were talking about the Jamaica one. When you started going, the Jamaica one was very small.
Yes.
And now this year, especially Jamaica Carnival, huge. Like and
scene.
Crop over in Barbados, like everything has been growing to this point where you said, it's you can be doing this all year round.
We've been over a few years. Usually it used to be like you do carnival in Trinidad and then you kind of down. You touch Jamaica and then you're down again, and then you wait until
you'd be like Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica,
typical.
But also now like with all of the smaller islands really having a musical impact. St. Lucia,
all these
St. Vincent, and all of that stuff. Grenada, especially with all of the power stuff.
It's a genre now in a different sense. It's beyond, of course, Trinidad and Tobago and beyond the Southern Caribbean. It's now, people in Germany want to do soca. People, so it's really growing in that. In its base, it's a. I mean, I meet so many random people, like somebody from Alaska, somebody from Iran, is in the dance, and you see all these flags, and you see an Iranian flag, you're like, where's that?
And funny enough, there was definitely a young lady out in the front last night with a giant Brazil flag.
Oh wow,
she's the front, which also reminds me, got to big up Lyrical, who opened the show.
Yes,
who's
amazing show.
Foundation, Brooklyn.
He is the king. He's the king. Yeah, he's the king of Brooklyn, man.
Bus from Brooklyn,
soca,
and put on a phenomenal show.
Did.
So like the whole thing.
I saw it afterwards, like in the clips, and he was people that really enjoyed himself, and big up to Liro.
That's one of the things that I've become more aware of. It is that a soca crowd is coming out to party.
Yeah.
From the minute those doors open, there's no standing in the corner waiting for the hype part of the night.
No.
It's just fun and energy from the start.
Yeah, it's an escape. It's an escape from what's going on in the world today. It's an escape from the sidewalk. You come in, you just lock off for a few hours and enjoy yourself till your feet hurt, till your throat sore, you're drunk out your mind. and you just enjoyed yourself to the full. It's a spiritual experience as well too. It's like, you know.
And so you were on stage for about an hour and a half last night. So that was the full length version of it.
You know.
And I'll get to this to the real energetic soca pieces of it, but you also, you know, going back to all of this ragga and dancehall stuff we were talking about, you have a great segment in there that's paying tribute to reggae and dancehall, and what, like it worked. How did that become a part of your set and what you do?
What we choose is to you know, I will say this moment is the summer all your moments, you know, and I believe that everything that we've been influenced by, I want to honor it, you know. So even within, you know, you would hear our dancehall stuff and think these artists I used to listen to. These artists that influence my flow and my style, and to be able to honor them on stage during our show is just so much fun, you know. Because I was part of a cover band, you know, in the early 80s, and we used to cover I used to cover everything from you know, again, Buju and Weenie Wonder and Aerosmith and you know, everybody.
And you guys were doing like weddings and all
yeah.
Like,
if that about mitzvah now, we'd have done that one too. You know what I mean?
You guys would have been the band.
We would have been the band. So you know, with that though, that covers, you know, it taught us song structure. It taught me my range as well. So I could DJ a little bit, I sing, I do a little bit of everything, you know. And you know, we could switch it anytime we feel to. Like, you know, we have a charity band that we do called Big Tutats Kumari Orchestra. It's just like a makeup band, just musicians, and we play what we want. We play theme songs, we play, you know, we just get our chops going with them things, you know. But it's good.
I also hear there was a Battle of the Bands moment with Bohemian Rhapsody.
We did. We won a competition. This was one of the, like, honestly, one of the bigger moments for us, you know, like a what less moment. We came together. My brothers were doing heavy rock. I was doing more R&B with a cappella group. Yes, singing Boys to Men
style.
Yeah. So, you know, I covered many of Boys to Men, and you know, we said there's this competition. Let's get it. You know, we said we can do Bohemian Rhapsody. We can do, you know, the Galileo, Figaro, all them things. We could arrange that. You handle rock. Let's go. And we blew, you know, everybody out of the water. And I think that, you know, so Queen, like when that movie came out and Bohemian Rhapsody, it was a big thing for us too, because that song, covering that song, carried us to another,
like that was
another level. Yeah,
that was one of those moments.
Oh,
that was a turning point.
Who these little boys from South? You know what I mean? Who these boys from South playing Bohemian Rhapsody? You know what I mean?
Oh, that's got to be so bizarre. Like, in some ways, so bizarre, but also once you kind of really study it, kind of perfect.
Yes, it was, and it makes sense to where we are now in the story we are now. You know what I mean? So.
All right, so that covered the little kind of reggae tribute piece of the show.
Yeah.
But sort of back to what I was talking about with the band taking your recorded music to a really elevated level. From the minute you walk onto the stage until the end, I know you were talking about even just having a few moments of assist, but it's really you're really working nonstop for that hour and a half, and it's energetic. Like, how
you know, for me, sometimes when promoters say, you know, yo, you gotta pay for like, you know, hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm sometimes a little daunted because I'm like, do you understand soca? Like, do you understand how high this energy is?
There are no slow jams.
No.
Like mellow moments.
We take a few, but it's always, you know, it is performance. Like you could have a hit song in the soca industry, but if you can't perform it, the song you would lose some of the popularity of it because you're not delivering it live. They wait for that. They're like, okay, I'm gonna give my all to this when I see him perform live.
Like, okay, yeah, I like this. It's growing. This is my song. Now let me see it
exactly.
live.
And they're not gonna, and they're gonna hold it against you if you go on that stage and shit on yourself, you know?
Right. And so that's part of the carnival culture of this cycle that you're talking about in this season.
It's interactive. Yeah.
That's an essential part of it.
Exactly.
If you can't do that,
sure. You know, I mean, I did track and field when I was younger too. So, I mean, I guess all of that comes into play. Everything comes into play, you know.
To be honest, I was just tired watching you last. Like, and there's a moment where you come off before you finish the show.
I'm dying.
Yo, I actually thought, I was like, wow, are they calling an ambulance for it? Like, you were just like, but it's like, I guess you take like that 1 minute
to just nobody exists around me, and I'm just like, I gotta give one more Hadouken, and then and then I'm gonna turn it.
All right, so like, there's so much music to play. Like, I pulled a lot of music here, and we've got just about an hour left. So I definitely want to let people hear some of that energy. So I want to play People. Give me some of the background on People.
People was actually written by Voice, which is another soca artist doing some amazing stuff. But we love the song, we love the message, because it's really telling the the people who support you, and it could be your fans, it could be the people in your family, it could be your wife, it could be, but those people are the people that really get you going when you're down. They are the angels that lift you up, you know what I mean? So this song was just dedicated to the fans, and thank you for believing in us when we didn't believe in ourselves, and the people around you who, that real talker who will tell you when you're on shit, and that one person is for that as well.
Well, you have two of your brothers in the band, so I would assume. And one of them is your big brother, so I would assume. Oh, they're both your big brothers.
I'm the little brother,
So I would assume you definitely have at least two people that will tell you when shit is not right.
Yeah, they keep me grounded.
Guess the bad, make you put up your hand. Whoa, ain't nothing like fitting with people, fitting with people. Whoa, hey, KTB, one family, and let me go. For all the cannibal I see no hit, all you was right there, nobody will leave me. For all the time I feel to give up and quit, soon as I touch stage and I see all them hands raised, I give thanks to the Father, my family and close friends, guess they man love ya. Oh, but to my supporters, you guide me, so I strive to do better. Youth man and fans, I consider all your people. Jump up with the people. Wave up with the people. Get on bad with the people. Hold us with the people. Jump up with the people. Wave up with the people. Get on bad with the people. I want to fit and carry on. Celebrate and carry on. I want to fit and carry on. Celebrate and carry on. In every bed there's always a special crew. Going till morning, fit till we falling. You make me feel to take a jump up with you. Sip while you're drinking, tell me when we linking. I give thanks to the Father, my family and close friends, guess they man love ya. Oh, but to my supporters, you guide me, so I strive to do better. Youth man and fans, I consider all your people. Jump up with the people. Wave up with the people. Get on bad with the people. Hold us with the people. Jump up with the people. Wave up with the people. Get on bad with the people. I want to fit and carry on. Celebrate and carry on. I want to fit and carry on. Celebrate and carry on.
All right. So I should also mention that when you guys do that live, it's also significantly faster. Everything that we're playing is significantly faster live.
It is.
Which is, again, just like a part of that energy.
It is a part of soca, You can't play it too slow, There's certain songs we can do that with. I think I do that more with the dancehall stuff.
Tuesday on the Rocks is right.
I keep it.
But it's funny because a song like that, if you speed it up, it really just loses its essence.
Yeah, you're going to lose the groove. You're going to lose the soul. But, in Carnival, especially when the set is getting... people are speeding, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to jump on the treadmill up to their speed sometimes.
I can imagine, and kind of what I was talking about earlier of really, there's a whole different thing once you experience it. So see, being in that venue in Brooklyn yesterday, that it's real. I mean, I'm stumbling over my words to describe it, but it's really kind of indescribable. Yeah. And so engage and interact with that energy.
You live in
it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of.
It's a lot.
It's perpetual motion, I think, is kind of what I'm looking for.
It is really a kind of like before the show, I have a quiet moment, and I kind of, visualize. I have a visualization, like almost prayer, and I have to get into that space and jump on the train and just know that I'm gone. I'm go. And when I press go, I'm going until it's the end, and there's no like. Oh my gosh.
Hold on, guys.
Yeah. Hold on.
Excuse me, everybody.
I didn't expect the crowd to be so big.
I'm a little tired. I had a long day.
Yeah, no.
None of that.
No. You make that decision, you're gone. Like it's a bobsled,
That's perfect. Like a bobsled. There are no breaks.
You're done. Yeah.
But also, the amount of energy that is in that crowd has to be the fuel that...
Oh, definitely. Like there are times when I was, carnival time, we do 3 of those high-level shows and on the nights,
For nights and nights over and over and over.
At least for 3 weeks and then I have my concert, so I'm prepared. And then I have a life, what I mean?
Oh, you do. You have one of those as well.
And a little one and all of that. So it really takes a level of kung fu to understand that, and as well too, it is energy. It is kind of like recycling the energy from the crowd and just letting it pass through you, and you pass it back, and they pass it back to you, and you pass it back, and that kind of keeps you afloat, and it keeps you going now. So it's so important when the crowd is into it, and you see somebody singing and singing the words to the song, and if you see somebody in tears and all, like there's so many, you move. I look at the audience, some people see just a blank, just one blob.
Some people look out and picture everyone in their underwear.
So exactly. But I kind of I love to connect with a few people, like even in front of the stage, and people they react, but you learn so much from how people receive your music. Like it's certain things register with me, like wow, like I need to that line meant a lot to this person.
And it's interesting because everybody receives it differently. Like so you guys have created it.
Every place receives it differently
in one way, and every place and person connects differently with different pieces of it, different songs, and in different ways.
Sure, I always like John Lennon said it. There's this interview on YouTube with the Walrus, and this 14-year-old kid got into his changing room. He asked him a few questions. It was really cool. But he spoke about his listening back to his own music and just kind of realizing that oh wow, I could see how it could mean USSR, and it could mean the USA, and it could mean world peace. It could mean anything you kind of want. It depends on what level you connect to the song.
Do you at this point in your career look back at different levels of what you guys have done, and how do you look back on the career to this point?
Ever so often, I kind of take a check and I listen to stuff that I laugh at some stuff that we did, but sometimes I we were before our time with this one, and then other times I kind of I re-listen to music when it is that I take it out on the road for a while. Because when you take it out on the road for a while, your intentions of the song, sometimes it's some totally different, like your view, because your perspective of this, you're artist, so you're so close to the pot. And then when you let it out, it takes a whole new life then. It takes a whole new meaning to people. So wow, you have to listen to it again in a different frame of mind. I have perspective now from how the fans receive it. So let me listen to this outside in, and then that would change my performance of the song as well. So it's a constant work in progress, especially when a song is a year old and you're into the next season. How do I play a song from last year this year?
Well, that's the other thing that I wanted to talk about, because soca is very much based on seasons.
Yes.
So it's when basically, if I'm looking for soca music, you're like, soca 2019. Everything is, because it's sort of traditionally, and you guys are coming out of this mode, but it's traditionally it's made for this year's carnival.
Yes.
And again, sort of that traces back to this competition aspect of it, and Road March and Soca Monarch. So it's geared for this kind of narrow season.
Yeah.
So do you feel like that's kind of changing a bit, where and again, watching the show last night, seeing songs from 2011 on up have equally monstrous responses to the ones that I'm not even going to talk about yet. 2019, we're saving that for the end. But to see that, to see that stick through the years.
It's something that I've dreamt about. You know what I mean? When I go to see, you know, my favorite acts, I wanna hear certain songs. Like, I don't wanna hear you do your new album all the time. Even though our industry though, like, generally wants new stuff, so we always add that to the mix. You're always gonna get some new fire, but same speed. Songs have become classics. Like if I go to a Sting concert, you know, I want to hear Message in a Bottle. I want to hear this song. I want to that. You know, I have to. You know, and we've become, you know, that band in a sense. We've been together since 2005 in this formation, and that's some years. So people hold on to that old stuff, and it means a lot to them. And it's not old; it's just classic. So we're just trying to aim to make classic songs. You know, when you listen to Bob Marley, no, it's not necessarily. You don't care what's off of Exodus and what's off of Catch a Fire. You just
it's all about Marley.
All one thing.
Yeah.
So I think we kind of step it into that, and I think it depends on where you are in your career. You know, like the first 4 years, you have to keep fresh, and, you know, going on 5. But eventually, people are gonna be like, I remember that song. I got engaged after, you know, that party, and that song was such a part of that, and the song reminds me of my cousin who's not with us now, and, you know, so it becomes so much more than what you know, and you, I guess my worst fear is being bored of something. Like, I'm bored of the song, but you're never bored of it because people receive it differently. Like,
and it's just
it's new every time,
every night is its own energy. Like the next show you do is going to be it's thousands of different people
gonna love it differently, so it's a whole new experience for me, you know. So that just fascinates me every time. Actually, it just does, you know. The fact is, like, oh god, I sing this song again. Not really. I don't ever feel like that about any of the songs. I just know that, you know, wow, like these people still love this.
It's funny because there are artists, you know, that where people will be like want to retire a song.
Yeah.
Like, I just performed this too many times. People want to come out, but
I think that's right. You know,
that's a problem to worry about 20, 30 years
exactly
in the future. If you're like, oh, I gotta sing Hello again.
Yeah, no. You know, I wouldn't think about that yet.
Those are great problems to have.
Yeah, man.
But so, you know, and again, that show was definitely, the Caribbean community came out, the flags of all countries, flags island, that I don't even know where they are, but I know
the island of Brooklyn, you know, it's just definitely came out. The full combination. And that's something fascinating about Brooklyn for me. There's very, you know, Toronto is somewhat similar, you know, London has that as well, but there's something special about New York and the Caribbean diaspora. It's so, like, you know, you find the next generations, you know, the mother is from St. Vincent, the father is from Trinidad, and, you know, who's Irish mixed with Jamaican, and who's, you know, Puerto Rican mixed with, you know, it's just such a melting pot, and everybody, I think now is finding such more common grounds. Like, I'm not gonna lie, again, Jamaica was so separate from the soca scene. And now I ask, who from Jamaica? You see flags coming up. I see American flags coming up. I see it's really amazing to see.
It's really cool and interesting in New York because, you know, my life in clubs and events and DJing over the years, that was one of the things that I really learned was, like, it evolved to a point where there's not a Jamaican party in Brooklyn or in New York. There's a Caribbean party.
Everybody
so in those places you would hear a party that would have been thought of as a reggae party. You would hear all reggae, but then as things opened up a little bit more, and you would start to play soca, you realize, like, oh, all these people are from Barbados. All these people are from Trinidad. They just haven't been getting represented in these places.
And everybody wants to be heard as well. So, like, that's the next thing. Everybody have their flag and everything. But again, everybody listens to everything. No. So, like, I grew up to classic dance. I grew up to classic calypso, you know, just as someone in Jamaica, just as someone in St. Vincent and Barbados. So we just party, we just enjoy the music in general, you know what I mean? I think now more than ever. And then Africa is now entering into you hear it in the soca fets, you're hearing it in the dancehall parties. So that's another thing that's happening.
And it's great because to someone from outside the culture, initially, like, it's clearly all connected.
Exactly.
So to see it, having seen it be kind of not dealt that way, sort of like, this doesn't really make any sense. So to now see everything being connected, it feels like it's really elevating what everybody is doing and just broadening the
the base,
the fan base of all of it.
Yeah.
All right, I want to play something recent, but I actually just want to, after that, I want to come back and I want to get kind of your take on, because I told you you're my Trinidad and Carnival representative for the show.
No pressure.
But to give a little kind of like background on the soca and calypso music that just was in the streets and everywhere as you guys were growing up.
Yeah, cool.
Outside of the alternative and the rock and the Van Halen, as you would say. But I want to play Workout, which is you and
Nyla.
Mm-hmm. Explain who Nyla's a young artist out of Trinidad.
She's a young artist out of Trinidad with some very important roots as well. To her grandfather is the pioneer of soca music. Soca music is kind of like the relationship, for those who don't know, between like reggae and dancehall, like between calypso and soca. It's the same. Soca is the young adolescent energy. Calypso is more the laid back, storytelling. So Nyla's grandfather was, the forefather of that, and she used to do just kind of like us, fusion music in her own style, and this was her first dabble in soca. This song was her first step into the soca industry called Workout, and like she's never looked back after this.
No, it's great. And she's got a really unique voice, and it's a great combination with you. Yeah. So this is Workout. Kes is here. It's the Federation Sound, Red Bull Radio.
Hey, KTP, just for you, baby. Yeah, hey, yeah.
Give it to me, that workout.
Give you the workout, girl. Give you the workout, girl.
Give it to me, that workout. Give it to me, that workout.
Give you the workout, girl. Give you the workout, girl. Give me the workout, baby. Show them that you're not lazy. Ooh, lately, that body driving me crazy. Gym body. Not give it to nobody. Oh, gym body. Original, them can photocopy, oh.
We never over. You sending me loca. I want your love. You giving me pressure. Love never sober. We dancing in soca. Right like brum, brum, brum.
And you know we end up going low, lower, lower, until we end up going low, lower, until we end up on the ground. Give it to me, that workout. Give it to me, that love, girl. Give it to me, that workout. Give it to me, that love. Give it to me, that workout. Give it to me, that love, girl. Give it to me, that workout. Give it to me, that love. Give me the love thing, baby. The madam and them shaky. Ooh, girl, I'm gazing. Looking at you is amazing. With your gym body. Not give it to nobody. Oh, gym body. Original, them can photocopy you.
We never over. You sending me loca. I want your love. You giving me pressure. Love never sober. We dancing in soca. Right like brum, brum, brum.
And you know we end up going low, lower, until we end up going low, until we end up on the ground.
All right, that's Workout. Kes, Nyla Blackman. So you said you'd be kind enough to provide a little historical context for someone like myself who's learning about this music and growing to love it. And
See what I could do.
I'm working my way back into the history. So give us a little history lesson.
Okay. Well, for those who don't know, calypso music, I would say, really and truly started off as the music, the way that in slavery, the way that the slaves basically talked to each other, said the stories that, they did it through song, and it really came from Africa, basically the language of the drums. And then, when it is that you couldn't speak in certain ways, it could be carried through song. The messages could be stretched from village to village, through a song. You get the real story, and it just developed into this almost like the real deal, the culture, the real culture in comparison to the what the colonial situation was happening, what news they were given. you know.
Right. So
So
because
it starts from there. You
so
know?
to put that in context,
Yeah.
what year did Trinidad become independent?
It became in 1962.
Right. So it's really recent history.
No, it's before that. It's way before that.
No, but I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah,
as
yeah,
far
yeah.
as like the actual independence and like the even official separation of a colonial control, which
Oh, yeah.
all of that still affects it.
It's still a part. It's still a part, but it's also still a part of the. You know, it's still a part of the everything. No matter what, you know. Again, like for me, I am, you know, German, Amerindian, African. You know, all these mixed up, and that's all part of the tone. You know, so you know, without the pressure of it, music wouldn't be made. You know, a lot of in a lot of the dark times in history, art was the thing that really kept people together. You know, the street foods became celebrated foods in the country, like, and that was from necessity. You know, that was just trying to make something work. But calypso really developed into you know, something that was actually a threat to the system, because it was, you know, they would use it to not just speak about the real issues that was happening. They would make fun of you know, and you know, so the English, I know, couldn't take that, and they tried.
No sense of humor.
They tried to stop it at time, and there was the Cambule riots. And the Cambule riots was, you know, we got Carnival from the French, and that's where we, you know, celebrated our culture from on the island. But then the English came in and they tried to stop that, and there was this revolt, and they had to just leave us with it. You know, there's a reenactment every year in Trinidad, every carnival, in Sunrise, where they do this reenactment in the streets.
The day before Juve. So
Well,
usually,
that's
right?
well, it really that thing that I'm talking about is Juve.
Okay.
It's where Juve came from, where, you know, they came in the night with they disguised themselves with mud and paint, and they came with flambeaus, and they basically raided the place and said, you know, we're not gonna give up this. This is our time. And you know, there's a reenactment every year in Trinidad, Carnival Friday morning, in the streets of you know, one of the hardest places in Trinidad, actually. But on Carnival, everyone comes, you know, government officials, like, you know, people, you know, the people come out to see the origins of Juve again, you know, and reminded where this comes from. It's really cultural identity and defending that, you know. And so calypso is really wrapped up in all of that. Calypso music was also, for those who don't know, the first genre of music across the board to sell 1 million records, which is Harry Belafonte Calypso. You know, that was the first, before rock and roll and before all of that.
That's in the 50s.
In the 50s,
Yeah.
which was another time for calypso, where, you know, I always remember seeing this magazine, and one of my friends was showing me that, you know, they put Harry Belafonte and pitched him against like Elvis, and it was like, what's going to be the new sound?
I mean,
for summer, you know, in the 50s.
In the 50s, that's crazy. You can't even imagine.
This is it, you know. So calypso is really that, you know, that voice, you know, of the Caribbean as well too. This was before reggae as well too. Reggae came out of, you know, the interpretation of ska and mento and calypso, you know. So even when you listen to the guitar, and like, you know, there's the plucking of the guitar in reggae came from a guitarist trying to copy a panist, you know. So the pan is single notes, ding 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 ding. So it was an interpretation, you know. So, you know, calypso continued to be that force that just kind of each generation carried it somewhere else, and you know, it's grown today. Soca itself came out, I think, in the late 70s, when Ras Shorty I combined African rhythms with Indian rhythms and created a new movement.
Because Trinidad has a huge Indian
Definitely.
population and
African,
Indian influence,
yes.
and African as
Yes.
well,
Almost
which
half and half,
differentiates it from Jamaica in
Yes.
the kind of cultural makeup in
For
that
sure,
way.
for sure, it's all a melting pot. So with that brings a different feel and a different energy. So the music always reflects that. The food reflects that as well too, you know. But, you know, it continued to evolve, and then soca really, you know, started to touch, you know, all generations and a younger generation as well too. As you know, when reggae really took off in the 70s, calypso started to almost recede and take a backseat in some ways. then the advent of soca came, and then it was revitalized again in a different way.
Sort of again, like you said, speaking to a younger,
Yes.
the younger population.
Yes, so, the evolution is still happening as well, too, because I think right now, personally, we need to go back to Calypso in a lot of ways. Like the coolness of Calypso, the lifestyle of Calypso. It's just really something cool and pure about that,
I mean, that's kind of, you mentioned this a little bit earlier. Your style of soca has always been, even when it gets up tempo, has that kind of flavor of what you're talking about.
I look
right
for
there.
that. I look for melody. I look for laid back. I look for that. I look for a song, even if as fast as it is, as slow. I look for a song that I could sing on an acoustic guitar. Like I could sing with one instrument, and you would get the song. And that's what I want. Those are the songs that that make sense to me.
All right. Well, we've played a lot of music. We still have a little bit of time to talk. I'm just kind of watching the clock, so we've only got a half hour. So it's also a perfect place. You're talking about a song that you could sing on acoustic guitar, the melody, the laid back. I want to play. I have a lot of favorites from the catalog, but right now this is way up at the top. This to me is really like it's kind of a perfect song, and I don't even just mean like a soca song. I'm talking about Hello.
Yeah, man.
Which kind of falls into that pocket of what you were talking about.
It's a song that I've always wanted to sing. It's a song that a few elements had to come. I really wanted to bring Calypso back in a form, in a form that kind of relates to now.
Not just recreate
just kind of like adapt it to now, but still have the swag of Calypso. And I think this song captured the swag of Calypso, mixed with a little Africa, in it too, So it's, as you said, like how the song came out, we actually had an extra hook for this song, like, and we had to take out hooks. Like,
hold on.
We had another hook.
For people who know this, and for the people who haven't heard it yet, I'm going to play it in a second.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after. We had another hook.
Because this song is
hooks. It's all hooks. But we had to take it out. It's too sweet. Diabetes.
All right, I'm gonna play this. And then actually, there's a little bonus piece that I'm gonna play after this. Then we'll come back and talk about the hook that never made it into here. That hopefully will end up as its own song in the future.
Who knows, man?
All right, this is Hello. It's the Federation Sound, Red Bull Radio.
Like a dojo. So what you say? Pretty girl, when you come my way, what you do? I must get through. Girl, roll up your way, show me that wine. Turn around, girl, don't be shy. Hello. Yeah. So girl, I love how the way you blow my mind. Hold me tight and bring that wine. Hello. Federation song. Yeah. Federation of the thing, girl. Anyway that they gon' go. Make she rock, she waist and go low. Federation kick up the place like a dojo. Say what you say, what you say, what you say. Federation song come play. What you do, they must get through. Girl, roll up your waist, show me that wine. Federation song front line, hello. It's Federation song. Yeah, you're gonna love how the way them blow your mind. Start a wine, girl, party time, hello. It's Federation song. Live. Max Glazer, I'm ready. Are you
right. First of all, I have to say thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for that incredible dub. I didn't even get a chance to. Yesterday was so hectic.
Yeah, man. Bless, man. I'm glad you got it in time for this, man. I wanted to.
Oh, it's perfectly perfect on time.
Good.
The only thing I was upset about yesterday is because it was a Kess the Band show. I couldn't play it on my set at the show yesterday.
Yeah, man. But you have, full summer ahead.
Just have to hold it. I had to hold it in the stash for another day.
Yeah, man.
Sick. But yes, so that song to me, like again, the way Whatless feels of just like it to me as a DJ and just as a fan of music, just feels right.
Yeah, and then it again is that BPM that kind of like people from all different walks can get. It's not too fast, it's not too slow, and the melodies are there. It's something that even if you don't know the words, you're gonna hum the melody. Oh yeah, but that last hook, what it was. What was that last hook? Oh yeah, I got it. You go, hey, let me hear. Okay. All I need is your love and attention. Wow, girl, you're sweet and I just have to mention. Yeah, hold me, darling. All night we jamming. Yeah. Nice.
And you just didn't even have room for one more hook.
Yeah, no. We were like, we need to, yeah. Okay.
All right, hold on. Let's stay right here.
Yeah.
Since you already got in a singing zone.
Hey. And everything. Said everything that's sweet. Hey, Max Glazer. Federation songs, Red Bull. And everything just, yo, You know this? I say, I only can hear one tune on this, You know this little girl, her name is Maxine. Her beauty's like a bunch of roses. If I ever tell you about Maxine, you are gonna say I don't know what I know. But murder she wrote, breed, murder she wrote. Yo! Good times,
You wanna go one more?
Yeah, no matter not, you know what I mean? I catch me off guard there, boy. Let me try a little thing. And everybody does. Hey, and everybody does. Hey, oh. Girl, broke out and wine. Let me see you wind up your spine, girl. Wine. Let me see you roll up your waist and wine. Let me see you wind up your spine, girl. Wine. Let me see you, hey. And everything just sweet. Federation songs, well, you know how they do it. Max Glazer, yeah, mashy please. Good times, man.
Yo, excellent. Man. All right, so we were talking. So now you gave us the unused hook from Hello.
Yeah.
So you just decided there were too many hooks.
Yeah.
And you had to put that one on the
we
shelf.
Needed to. It wasn't fitting in the structure of the song and the rhythm. But yo, it's cool. I do it live sometimes, so it's all good.
What? How long has that song? When did you have that done?
That song is 2018. That song was 2018, but we did that in 2017.
Just had it in the stash ready.
We had it in the amps, ready. We had it in the cannons.
Did you feel like you were like, this is one, like, when?
Yes, I think by that time we knew, hey, this song is I think it too is how it came. You know what I mean? Like I was driving home from a real hard day, a difficult day, emotionally difficult day too, and I just put on the rhythm. And I was empty. I was tired. But I think sometimes when you're most empty, your best works comes out. And I was just like playing the rhythm. I had the rhythm, the folklore rhythm. And I was just like, oh yeah, okay. Hello. I was like, hey, this is nice. I parked the car and I worked out the verse. She had the thing I love. And I worked out the, are you ready? I had the sweet type of love from before.
That's what I mean. It's like it's almost like you had all these hooks.
I had them. How do we put it together? So I didn't let the night fall and I didn't go in studio. So I called Kit Israel, producer, like late, and I was like, dude, I know you're a family man and you had to wake up early, but could I come to studio and put on this? And he was like, yeah, he's game, and thank God he did that. So beginning, I was so tired, I sat in the studio to record. Like, I was burned. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. Tomorrow, we'll make sense of this. But I'm going to pull the hooks down and let's make sense of it. And when we listened to the next day, it was the lead. Like, that sit-down, laid-back vibe was the lead. And we just went with that, and that was the song. I didn't go back. I didn't fix nothing. I just... You know.
Sometimes that's just how it works.
And that's the wisdom, though, of doing it a few times and being around the merry-go-round a few times. In a sense, you have to know when something is good, and you don't need to fuck with it anymore. You know, just leave it as is, and you have to know that. You have to know when you're not ready, and you have to know when it's ready to eat. You know.
Yeah, and that one, to me, like I said, just sort of the overall sound of it. Again, another one that's not going on the shelf once its year is done.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those, and I feel blessed that I'm blessed with a few songs like that. You know what I mean? But definitely, Hello and What Less really falling into it's that classic sound. You know what I mean? I like that. I like the classic. You know, we all want to be classic. You know,
but you can't really work too hard to make it a classic.
No, you don't.
Because those are the ones that end up not.
But the thing is, it's not even about trying to be a classic. I think it's about the honesty behind. I think when you think too much in general, your work comes out contrived. And I think it's about being in a state of readiness for the moment, like being here, present, and not consumed with what I did before and what's to come. And you trust your antenna, you trust your compass, and then with that you create from your honest self. And know when you're, you know, as you say, you know, sucking you in, you know when you're bullshitting yourself, and know when you are just allowing the music to be free, and that brings a classic. It just does, like, allowing yourself to become a vessel rather than clogging the vessel with your ego now. You know, let me just let this pass through, and whatever come, you know, let's not think about this.
And then it was cool because then I got to see for the first time.
Because I've done the opposite as well too. I thought too hard and it came out that way.
Yeah. So it was cool to see for the first time. Yesterday was the first time I got to see you perform that. Yes. And see the energy of that. And again, like the look on people's faces and the connection, like that's like as much energy as there is throughout the show, you have to see at those certain points like a different, even deeper type of connection.
Yeah, definitely. I think I love to break down the song totally and just play the rhythm and the music, and you know, like get people to understand what I was going through when I heard the rhythm for the first time. You know what I mean? So fall in love with the piece of music. That's to me. You fall in love with the music and the song has to be on amps. You know, everybody has to be right up there, you know, for it to work.
All right, so that was 2018.
Yes.
I want to move very quickly right now into 2019.
Yes.
And then talk. I know there's a lot of background and history to deal with this song that I'm about to play.
Yes.
So, Hello was 2018, and you moved into 2019 with Savannah Grass.
Yes.
So that's right now.
It's
this year,
yeah,
just coming out of the carnival season.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about all of that after we actually get to listen to it. This is Savannah Grass. It's the Federation Sound, Red Bull Radio.
Money.
That's Savannah Grass. That's the people's champ for 2019 for sure.
Man. Yeah, man. Wow. Where do we start?
Okay, well, let's start with the sort of literal explanation of what you're talking about for
Yes.
people who have not been to Carnival
Not
and
a
don't
clue.
know what you're
Not a clue.
talking about.
Yes. So, Savannah Grass, the Savannah Grass really and truly is a space, a green space in Trinidad, Port of Spain.
What we would essentially call a park.
A park, but it's the biggest roundabout in the world. Like the cars go right around.
That's the biggest roundabout?
Yeah, it's the biggest roundabout in the world. And it's also a space where the city, families come, for decades. Have played sports and, just spend quality time. But as well, that's where the carnival stage is. That's where Calypsonians, blood, sweat, and tears went on those stages. That's where we received our cultural identity. People from around the world came to the Savannah, experienced the culture on that stage, and carried it elsewhere, around the world. So it's really like, the oil. It's really the source of culture. Now, we grew up and we were introduced to the Savannah through our father. We lived in San Fernando, which was in the other town country. So the Savannah we would see the Savannah during carnival time. And my dad and is, rest in peace, Pops, but he alive through the song. And he was really responsible for really showing us culture in a whole different way. He introduced us to Juve, which is, the pre-carnival celebration. Some people believe that's the real experience of it all, and I feel the same way in a lot of ways, that it's very significant. And he just gave us that meaning for the Savannah, and I've always.
And this is from when
kids,
you guys were
when we were
kids,
kids,
before music.
Yeah. When we were kids, we were on the streets. We were as everybody comes in costumes, and in the 80s. With the artists like Peter Minshall, these were, he designed for the Atlanta Olympics. Like, these are people who created like amazing masterpieces, but not just. He understood the mechanics of movement and how that could represent, like the ocean and represent like.
Right, and so to the point of that Carnival is music is such an integral part of it, but there's so much more
definitely.
Culturally that I think people who may have experienced carnivals
one-dimensional
in other places that are maybe growing and trying to achieve that level, where it's a music event.
Yeah.
Whereas in Trinidad, it's a cultural
explosion.
It's the cultural explosion for the year, and the whole year is building up to it and leading to it.
Exactly, and people come in for the parties, they come in for that, those good times. Kind of like you go to New Orleans and you go for the Mardi Gras, but then when you get involved with New Orleans, you see the history and the culture and the food and
what created Mardi Gras, what allowed it to exist.
So to me, if you just get involved alone in the parties, like you're playing with the rapper, like you're not actually getting involved.
but it's a lot of people's first. It's
an entrance point.
It's the toe in the water.
Yes, and I'm not gonna knock that at all. But I will always tell someone, experience a full 360. Get into the party, but go see a steel pan side and go feel a rhythm section. That's just a rhythm section. It's just a drums and
out in the road somewhere.
Out in the road, pure energy. And just experience the cultural side, the artistic side. There's this kiddies band, these kids on stilts, and the whole band is that we call them Moko Jumbies. But the art and the creations they make is just amazing. So there's such an explosion of color and art and expression and just good times. It's a full 360 experience in Trinidad, and I have to say that I want to see more of those elements represented. I would say, in other, even right here in Labor Day and all these things, to see, culture really shine, because you could get an overall picture, In the 80s, I think people used to come to Trinidad. Some would not come for the party. Some would come to the photographers. Everything would come to see what's up, what's next,
Okay, so that's some of the background on kind of what the Savannah is and represents.
Exactly. And I put it in song, and one thing I get from people, and I have to, when people come back to you really get what it was. I wanted that feeling of when I crossed the stage or when I was in the middle of carnival and I wanted to capture that in the song. And people came to us and said, yo, I feel like I'm partying with my ancestors when I hear that song. And I found that was one of the most powerful and precise statements, because it feels like if you know carnival, if the beginning line is, if you know, yeah, then you know, yeah. So if you know it, you know what this song, where the energy is. And even if you don't understand the song and don't where it's from, there's an energy about it.
And the sound of it is, I mean, there are all of the classic Kes elements in it, and it's melodic and all of these things, but the song does have a really different tone than the couple of things that we've played in the show already that are a little more major and up and kind of in that direction. And this kind of is really rooted driven by the that rhythm section,
you know. And even the visual that we did, you know, big up to Oliver Milne, the visual had, you know, classic carnival into it. You know, it had elements of like where we came from to where we are now. So, you know, it's a whole depiction of like who we are and the energy. So I'm glad people love it, and I'm glad it continues to grow even beyond, you know, our genre. People are really dancing to it, you know, see people dancing to it in Russia and all over the place, you know, and it just amazes me that the sound is so rooted in Trinidad, but yet it's being accepted, you know, all around, you know.
Yeah, and I know, like you mentioned it, you know, briefly, but kind of really connected to your father who passed recently, just
January 1st. It was probably the most difficult and greatest carnival season I've ever had. So it was both. I spent a lot of time crying and telling myself we can do this and we can get over carnival. But then it became something so much more. It was divine intervention. I mean, I'm talking about just to do the video. We did the video. We didn't stop. We said, you know, Daddy would want us to get this out. So we gotta suck it up and let's get this done. And it was so difficult. I didn't even know what I wanted to wear. Like everything was just, and it felt like an extra. Daddy was there, like just guiding, like, yeah, do this. The day was perfect. The other 2 days rained. You know, like. It just, everything lined up, and it was as if we had to do what we had to do, and now the song is on its way to becoming a classic, and I'm very, very happy that Daddy can be remembered in song, and I've envisioned him with us before every show, you know, just there with us, rooting.
And like you said, like that's kind of a perfect encapsulation of it, and also like that as the personal thing, but also what you said before of what it means, what the Savannah means to the whole culture. So it's just very personal thing for you.
Yes.
But also people without really knowing your personal piece of that story.
Exactly.
This can also really connect people to the Savannah and through that carnival culture and through that really Trinidadian culture overall.
That's again, as we said, receiving the song in different dimensions, you know, like, you know, it's everybody's taking their own meaning out of it, and I love that. That's what it's about, you know.
Boy, and to see this one last night, I was gonna say, like, I hate to keep talking about Brooklyn, but I actually love talking about Brooklyn, so we could do it all day long.
Brooklyn!
To see this, and this is the type of song that this is. You started the show with this, and also finish the show with this.
You have to,
because it's such a interesting way to bookend it, because sort of in a lot of styles of music, you know, you're not going to repeat something. You're gonna come back with an encore. You save something from the catalog. But in this way, and like in the culture of carnival, and in all of the jumping and waving and kind of like the energy.
Let's wrap it all up together. Let's wrap the whole emotion together.
Yes, and it's like the way a band would really, you would get a refrain of something.
Yes.
Kind of maybe later in the show.
Yes.
And it just really, like you said, wrap the whole thing together.
And to be honest, too, like when you start a set off, people are now kind of taking you in, you know. They don't get to enjoy the song until the second time around in the way.
So you feel like the second time around is the full impact?
I think there's a great impact of coming out, and that is its own energy. But I think when it comes to enjoying the song, I think people kind of like settled into the show in the end, you know, so they get it and they move along with it even more.
I mean, look, they definitely got it from
They got it from the top. Yes, last night they got it from the top and the end. Though.
For 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And you are such a professional. We had a 10 o'clock curfew. This man sang his last note at 9:59.
Yeah.
No watch, not even looking at a clock.
Yeah, man. It's enough times on stage and enough police officers like waiting at the side of stages to shut off the music. It's the most embarrassing and lame thing to just like you're in the mic and nothing's coming out and you just pop your hands like
I don't know. Well, and
it's so horrible.
we couldn't leave Brooklyn like that. All right,
No.
so now we're really at the end of this. So I got to big up Jared for really
Big up.
making the link. Him and he actually introduced himself to me one day in New York years ago,
Yes.
years before he was on the road with you. And we've just kept the link ever since, which
Yeah.
really is what got you sitting down here. You and I have had the link for years.
Yes.
And I really want to big up the entire band.
Thank
so
you, man.
quickly, can you shout everyone in the
For
band?
sure. Well, first off, I mean, you call Jared. He's definitely a big element of the band. Big up to Jared, road management, amazing. Linky, the vibes. Management in general. Big up to Carolyn, big up to Simon. And the band itself, my brother Hans on drums, Yon on guitars, Riyad Buchun on the bass, Mario Calendar on the keyboards, Ricky Bobby, musical director, Robbie Styles is the DJ, Robert Passad, our technical crew. I have to big up Nigel Brazan, Corey Pascal, Lucky Ram. Everybody's Raphael. This is the touring squad.
So like I said,
Yeah.
you get to be here and do the interviews and get a little bit of the extra shine.
And they get to do sound check.
and they get to do sound check and are so good at it and just the way the whole team moves and the whole
Yeah.
operation.
Yes.
Really like a joy and a pleasure to do
you.
that show with you guys
Yes,
and,
man,
and
I'm
have that
glad.
experience in New York. Also
for
have
having
you
us.
come here. I feel like there's still a lot we could do another show.
We
in
could
the
do
future.
definitely. I mean,
All right.
we're back again. New York, we're back for Sony Hall, July 28th.
July 28th,
And
Sony
then,
Hall, Cast the Band
That's gonna be
live.
amazing. And then we're gonna be back for Labor Day.
Labor Day.
you
All right.
know?
So we'll
Cool.
definitely continue this. It's
Yes,
not over.
for sure.
Thank you so much for coming
Thanks for
through
having me.
and sharing this with us. And like we said, I didn't start with it, but we're gonna have to go out with Savannah Grass.
Yeah, man, for sure. Let you go.